And a lot, looks like I'm gonna potentially be on this podcast with one of the most famous women named, what's her name? Health Mama, or Wellness Mama.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and she's got all of the women with children that she is working with. I'm trying to get on with her if you're listening. Because what I realize is those women that are taking care of their family are also the ones that are going to be taking care of their aging parents, right? And so it just dawned on me, and I put it up to Dr. Pompa's group, who has a really good connection with her. She came and talked to our group before. It's like, it's not just our generation, it's generational health, and we've talked about that before in the earlier group, but not only do we want to get our kids, children healthy, but the people in their 40s and 50s got to make sure that the adults are getting healthy, right? Because, my wife just left to England with my daughter today, and my 97-year-old mother-in-law and my sister-in-law are still at my house. So what the heck? They leave me with my sister-in-law and mother-in-law. Thank God we got along. But the point is that she's 97, she's not on one drug, and she's doing amazing. So that's how we should all go. So I've got this little fun thing about our generation that I thought I would just kick it off with again, because, it is our generation. I didn't just blow it.
I think it's a song.
It is a song. About that is that's where we all came from. You guys remember that? At least, except for a few people here. Most of the others. But, and I really get the idea that we, as a culture, as a group, decided to give up this lifestyle, which some of it was a good idea that we gave it up, but we did not keep our freedom for our medical health. We've just gone down the traditional path to where we're 4% of the world population and we take 50% of the drugs made in the world. And we're rated 47th in the world for health. So this is a big scream out, we've got to wake up. You guys are here, but there's so many people that are not knowing what we're doing. George wants me to go down to Monterey and Reno to talk to some groups, and this is great. I'd love to do that. I wanted, there's so many of us with Dr. Pompa's group that are working to try to get this word out. Nancy, you are looking so amazing. Nancy was gone for how many weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks doing some amazing work.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you did and what's changed in your life.
A 3-week FEMA deployment to Nebraska, where I was the manager of a disaster recovery center. And when I've come home on other deployments, I've been wiped out. And this time I'm not. And I wasn't, even though we were working 12-hour days, 7 days a week, which is what we do when we first start out on that, I just had so much mental clarity, so much physical energy that it was really dramatic. So one of the biggest side effects of this program for me, I've lost over 20 pounds, and it's just easy. It's just going away. It's not a struggle at all. But one of the biggest side effects is I'm smiling all the time.
And that is a big deal.
Yeah,
awesome.
I just have a lot of joy, in my life. And to me, it's like coming home to myself again. you know, the way I used to be, and you know, despaired of being there again, and I'm just there. And you know, I'm not at the end of this journey, but I'm so appreciative of this program. And when I think of all the toxins that were in that 20 pounds of fat, wow, they're gone.
20 pounds of, you know, just that's like, you know, those 10-pound bags of sugar or flour or sugar that you, that's a lot. And there are a lot of toxins in there. And you know, you've been working at this for a while, and so it's just so great to see you. And you look 20
Totally
years
different.
younger.
Yeah,
you look
totally
completely different.
Yeah.
You would always.
Even those of you who started the program with me, you know, can see the huge difference.
Is this your second round?
This is my second round, yeah. Now, I gotta say, on this deployment, I didn't touch anything organic because it didn't exist out there. And if it had existed, working those hours, there wouldn't have been a time to get it.
What did you eat?
You know, I stuck with the bullet coffee.
Bullet coffee.
And then I would have some kind of a lunch, usually when other people went out and they would bring in something like Thai food or what. But a lot of times I just missed meals, you know, both the lunch and the dinner. But what a difference not to have organic food anymore.
Yeah.
My body has totally gotten with that program, and I did miss it.
Yeah.
Great deal.
Congratulations. I mean, when I saw you walk in, I think was that this morning or yesterday?
Yeah, this morning.
Wow. Completely different person. And so full of energy. And so anybody else have any other wins? I mean, I should have, yes.
I measured myself, or weighed myself finally, and I've lost 4/5 of a watermelon.
That's also a seedless watermelon or a seed one?
American watermelon.
American watermelon. No, that's American woman. I'll play that. Anybody else have any? Yeah.
I lost 10 pounds.
10 pounds.
Wow.
That's awesome. And basically, you've just changed the way you eat.
Yeah, I normally used to kind of fast anyway, but having that coffee in the morning with the MCT oil and the cream and everything made it just, we're going 14, 15, 17 hours. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's so great to hear everybody's having wins, and so because some of you may not, but just know that it works. Go ahead, Jeff.
yeah, one other thing that I was told by another doctor is that for every pound of fat we have, our body makes like 7 miles of an arterial system, which is why it puts strain on the heart.
Wow.
And then when you lose that, and I had to ask him twice.
Wow.
I go, you sure? And he goes, yeah. And so when you lose the weight, that gets back absorbed into your body, and that's why they make the correlation between being overweight and putting stress on your heart.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I had an interesting thing that I overdid on the weekend.
Again.
Not again.
But I completely on Monday a few joints were really hurting for no good reason at all. And but what I learned was besides not do that is I fasted all day on Monday till dinner, and it completely went away.
Unbelievable.
So it's a good tool
Yeah.
for, like, if you're hurting, just fast.
It's so amazing that we've been taught to eat, you know, and the Americans solve everything by eating. And when we just turn it around and realize that, I told you, I kind of enjoy being hungry now. It's kind of like a good feeling. I feel more on my game than, you know.
The feast was the hardest thing to do.
The feast? I know. The feast days are hard.
It was really.
And you've lost some weight too, right?
Yeah, I've lost about 5 pounds.
5 pounds. That's awesome.
Yes.
It's interesting that that's what we found. The feast was like.
It was torture, actually.
Do we have to do
I
this?
kept trying to get to between 100 and 200 grams of carbohydrates. I got it to 98.
Jeez. That's amazing.
And I said,
That's it. Well, if your body doesn't want it, don't do it.
But the increase in mental clarity is just amazing, and things are just popping in my head. So today I went to a smaller school, but I went through my whole 8th grade class, and I remembered everybody's first and last name.
Wow.
And then I remembered, I was like, oh, my 2nd grade teacher, this was her name. My 3rd grade teacher.
Wow.
It's really kind of cool.
That's scary.
I have to agree with her. Before this, I have not been perfect. My dad died. Like all this time period of doing this has been horrible. I've had every horrible thing happen. So I have not been on it I've been doing my best, but I haven't been on it. But it's crazy because I'm a transcriptionist, so I type for how many hours at a time in a row. And when I'm burning the candle at both ends, like I have been because of my dad's death a couple weeks ago and all this, and trying to deal, I literally get narcoleptic at the computer. I have not once fallen asleep. I have not even been tired. I have not even had to go take a nap on my lunch, which is the majority of what I usually have to do. It's been amazing. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so different than my norm.
That's amazing. And one thing, you know, she transcribes medical diseases, so
Yeah.
that must really scary, really an incentive for you to want to continue.
Oh, yes, very much.
Jim.
13 and a half pounds.
Yeah!
A lot more clarity,
Yeah.
holding more energy. It's been great.
Oh, you can see it in you too.
Think so?
Everybody.
Thank you.
I mean, I hope some of you took Chris's, who's not here tonight, her point about taking a picture of your face prior to doing this.
I did.
A lot of you were saying yes. Even do it now. I mean, like I see, like Sandy, your face is so much, it's just, all of the swelling from the toxins are going out. Judy, you've changed so dramatically. I mean, and it's just so great. And you're getting ready to do your second 5-day water fast, right? Yeah. You're doing good too, right?
Yeah, most 9 pounds.
9 pounds, that's awesome. Great.
I can even do a little bit. I just joined
Last week?
Friday, and I have been working at this a long time. So since last summer, I have been at the same exact weight. I've not gone up or down. I mean, I've gone up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
But I've not budged. This is the first time it's actually gone down. Every day I've gone down, even if it's just one little, 1 ounce. I've come down every single day since
Nice.
Friday.
Awesome.
That's the first time.
Congratulations.
So
Wow.
that to me at least is going in the right direction.
What's the difference?
Cycling for one.
Yeah.
I think what you're giving me
Yeah, she's
supplements
taking
is
some
working on
detox supplements.
inflammation. And,
Yeah.
just sticking to.
So were you doing the bullet coffee before?
I have been doing it since last year, since last summer.
So it's kind of recycling, you think?
I think that's really it. When you get stuck in one thing, like you were saying, whether it's supplements or what you're eating, your body will not respond after a while.
Yeah.
And
So did you carbo load then, and did that?
I just changed up what I did. I decided to throw in the fasting. I did the 5-1-1 this week.
Okay.
Today was my feast day. So yeah,
What'd
just
you
changing
eat?
it.
No, just kidding.
All good stuff. All good. I have a question though.
Yeah.
So Saturday is my birthday.
Congratulations.
So what do you do on your birthday? Eat cake.
You know,
What do you do?
you know, usually I would have a little piece of cake, but I mean, probably about that much. The times at our house when, my wife makes some gluten-free chocolate something or other, I can't eat more than a little sliver.
Wow.
But life's to live. You can't be disciplined. I mean, I've weighed under 190 now for about 2 weeks, and I've never been under 190 since I've been married. And I get 190, come about 210 usually, but I've been under 190. And then I get a little bit above, a little bit below, but now I'm staying below, and I've cheated a little bit this week. So that's okay. We want to stop the trend so that we can enjoy our life. Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, they had down in PG a place, this event called Good Old Days. Anyway, so I went over there and they had a pie eating contest.
Don't tell me you took part.
And I went for it.
Oh, you did?
And I thought, well, no, I'm not going to do it. No, you know what? You go ahead and live.
Yeah.
It was only a piece. It wasn't like a whole pie. But, and there was no guilt. It was like, I knew that, you know what? The rest of the night, I'm not going to eat anything else. The next day, I'm fasting in the morning. And it's like, so I mean, the point being is that it's not so restrictive. We can't live life. It's your birthday, have a piece of cake.
Absolutely.
And next day, get back on
Did you feel the effects the following day?
Huh?
Did you feel any effects?
No.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Just
been
try a
doing it.
loaf of white bread.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. You know, yeah. So everybody here, you know, there's some people that are probably having harder times than others. Just know your body's going to do it. It's going to break the dam, and then all of a sudden you're just going to start losing weight, or you're going to, whatever it is that you need to change is going to change. Yeah.
One quick question.
Yeah.
I saw your PDFs on health levels for
Yeah.
approved food, and I noticed you had maple syrup and
Mhm.
local honey.
Mhm.
So, is that just like once occasionally?
Yeah,
Is that
that-
how you're thinking about it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
figured, but I wanted to know.
Right, because again, remember, we're thinking about if anything's going to raise my blood sugar during my fasting window.
Right.
You know, so during the fasting window, you don't want to take anything that's going to raise your blood sugar, because it's going to lower your ability to burn ketones.
You mean, so if you were to do the honey or the maple syrup during your 6 hour of eating time?
I think that's why that's in there. I personally wouldn't do it yet. I get,
Okay.
you know what I mean? I mean, we're working up to potentially doing a 5-day water fast next week. You guys know that, right? I don't know who's going
What,
to feel
is that
ready for
still
it.
with the bullet coffee?
No coffee with a 5-day water
Wow.
fast. How'd that go for you, Nancy?
It went easy,
Yeah.
actually easy. Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah, I think maybe on day 3 I had a little urge to eat, but
Yeah.
I had a greater urge to succeed.
That's nice.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, it was.
So what happened at the end of the 5 days? How did you feel?
When the time comes, I will tell you how not to break your fast.
That's right. Don't feel alone, Dean. There's a couple other, you know, it happens.
I did not do what the book said, and I suffered.
Yeah,
for the next
just for a little bit. Now, Nora, you've done
you want to know now? Yeah, so
Yeah.
at any rate,
Yeah, tell 'em.
Dean and I for years have had a tradition of going to Sunday morning breakfast together. And so I ended my fast on, that morning and went and had my usual Sunday morning breakfast. And my bowels were not happy with that meal at all. So it took a whole day to get out of that.
So what was in your Sunday morning breakfast? Waffles and
No,
that was
sausage,
Dean.
maple syrup?
Yeah. No, it was still, wasn't an extreme breakfast, but, coming off of a fast for 5 days, it did not want chicken fried steak and scrambled eggs, fruit with it too. And
it was relatively easy for you, I believe.
Well, it was harder for me to do, what the book says.
Yeah.
Because I never done it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been fasting, but
Yeah.
I used to eat,
It was for because you just felt like at this point I'm just going to keep going. Now there's some good and bad about that. For this group, I would stop at about 5, and I did find you did a 5-day water fast, and you didn't have trouble. How did that go for you?
Except that I was coming off of an allergic response to an antibiotic.
Now you had food and some bone broth and stuff like that.
The drink, the tea with the, tablespoon or something like that.
With the what?
So we're talking.
The intermittent fasting.
Yeah, the intermittent
You do
fasting.
intermittent
Yeah.
fast. So actually, that oil that I put in 1 tablespoon or something, that oil into my green matcha tea was too much for my body. And so I had to reject that.
So you just want to listen to what your body's going to do,
Right.
So
I would say go easy on the oils the
Okay,
day
that's good.
you
Good
come
point.
off of your fasting.
Yeah.
I would just go for like pure water or tea or something with no oil in it after, like in the morning time. Yeah, I wouldn't go into the normal intermittent fasting.
No bullet coffee.
So we'll when we get, next week we'll actually give the recipe or what they recommend. But I'm just wanting to get some bits and pieces from people. And Eileen, how did you break your fast? You did 6 days.
I did the bone broth.
Bone broth.
And smoothie and but yeah, I do the matcha. I do matcha tea already. I do the tofu.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a problem with that.
Okay. And Connie, you broke your fast.
I did. I used bone broth and I recall just light food that day.
Yeah, steamed vegetables is really
and
good.
I didn't eat it all at once, I sort of just sampled it
Yeah.
to see how it was going to go.
Yeah. And Alicia, you've done the 5-day.
Yeah, I've done 2.
2? Uh-huh. Cool.
Yeah.
And you broke them with the same thing?
I think the first thing I had was the bone broth, and then I also had something with that colostrum powder. Was like, whoa, I didn't know about that. That's on some list that you have.
Yeah.
That was a real revelation.
Very immune system building.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and apparently, she's not here. Carol, is Carol?
Carol. Yeah.
Oh, I've worked to support your stem cells, which are just after what is it?
30 hours, your stem cells.
Start to get, yeah, so when I've done 30 hours, I've also taken some colostrum with yogurt, because I guess the probiotic is also really good after you're doing the fast. So I had some yogurt with colostrum, whole raw yogurt that I got. And they also have the colostrum.
What's in the first serving of mother's milk with the antibiotics, and the mother's also loaded with the mother's immune system that she's built up based on the environment, which is the same environment the baby's going to be
It's
going
probably pretty
into.
high fat too.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Which mother was that?
Any
I'm
mother.
not sure. Okay, good. So this is awesome. So now nobody has to do the 5-day fast next time. We've had some people from the first group who still haven't done it, and it's totally fine. You're all welcome to do the next class with us. It's all, but if you've done a 24-hour fast, you can stretch it out to maybe a 48-hour fast, or usually on the second or third day you get like a little bit of, third day was the hardest for me. I just took cell salts and put them on my tongue, Himalayan sea salt, and I was pretty much done. So I want to go on to what today's course is about, and but again, I'm really, really happy that you guys are all having, getting somewhere with this, and those that are having a hard time, you talk to some of the people that are doing it and find out some of their tricks, because what's going to work for one person doesn't work for the other. However, we do know that by not feeding the body, we're allowing it to burn up its toxins. I do have some of the fasting trio I'll go over. If you feel like you're toxic and need to get rid of some of the toxins, we have the fasting trio back there. And then also some Restore, which helps with the brain butt. Yeah, that barrier, you know the one I'm talking about. This is on air, right? And nobody deleted it like the radio station. And then I do know what those 2 supplements I told you about I brought back. I only have a few, but one is to help increase autophagy, and that's the clear, or the cell clear, and it helps break down the fat, and it's supposed, I've had some friends that tried, just started it. And then the other part is the cell renew that helps your body even generate more stem cells. And one of the products, we were on a Dr. Pompa call the other day, and he goes, I've had several people go, is this cell renew act as a aphrodisiac? And Dr. Pompa goes, well, it's got elk antler velvet in it, so apparently some people have experienced that. I haven't tried it. My wife's in Europe. I probably won't be taking it till she gets home. All right, let's get going. Okay, week 5. Create your health legacy. Understand the different fasts. So the legacy is really, you got to talk about the people older than you and younger than you. So you guys are starting to see some wins here. Let's get the rest of the country doing this, because I look out at these happy faces, happy glowing faces, with so much clearing up. So 2 factors to your health legacy, of course, lifestyle, which we are actually creating a new lifestyle by changing the fact that you're not dependent on food all the time, right? And you know what to put in your body, you know when not to put stuff in the body. And then the root cause of disease is really cellular inflammation. That is, without a doubt, you can go to any Western medical research paper, and they say that chronic disease is caused by chronic inflammation. It gets into the cell, it gets into something called the mitochondria, and it can create anything from cancer to all kinds of genetic defect or problems. So those are the two things we're working to turn around and customize your lifestyle. So, you know, just kind of reviewing where we're at, I put out all of these different toxic things here, you know, like no more poisons, including chemicals used in the house. I have a lady that's going to come talk to us, though, probably on a Saturday. I'm going to do a Facebook Live with her about H2O for you in your house. It's all clean products. Anybody know that stuff? Do you use it?
I sell Norwex, and it's the same thing. It's all just microfibers with silver in it, and you add water, and it disinfects and cleans everything.
Yeah,
It's
you
amazing.
don't. There's no. Bring some in sometime and tell us about
I
it.
have tons.
Yeah, but you know things like Pam, Tums has not only colors in it, but it's filled with aluminum.
I love the ant roach killer. That's my favorite.
That's what you like? You use it as deodorant.
Your breakfast, your power breakfast.
Things like Coppertone for kids, it's just loaded with chemicals. The FDA does not require any studies to be done on anything you put on your skin, because they think if you don't put it in your body, why test it? Well, the biggest organ in your body is your skin, right? And then, we have the toxic estrogens, all the plastics, the prels, the things that you get, there's some really good organic, natural things to use instead of Cascade. Pringles, you get into the sugar, glyphosate foods, and all of that kind of stuff. So just start to look around in your cabinets. What I recommend is you look in your, who was here that said that there's a lot of stuff in their shelf? That was you, wasn't it, last week? Somebody was saying, I got some food in my shelf that I don't know what to do with.
I did, yes.
Yeah, and donate it. Take it to Brave Bear.
Poison somebody.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
That's the dilemma. It seems wrong.
I know. You have to put it in a nuclear-free zone. So, healthy choices on food, and Nancy, you saw that perfectly. In other states in our country, there is no organic food. So we're so lucky here. We know what our eating windows are. Everybody feels pretty good about their eating window. Intermittent fasting, the 5-1-1 now. Did we talk about the 4-2-1 last time? So the 4-2-1 you can start doing this week. It's going to help you get ready for your 5-day water fast. And that's where you do 2 24-hour days, 2 24-hour fasts. So you might do...
What about just going for it and just eating once a day?
Well, you could do that, but I just want, see, when you do that and you feel bad, you quit. So we want to do it on a gradient. Some people can do it, but the majority of us, we're better just, easing into it, because your body, you never know when you're going to hit a ton of toxins. Like, a lot of us have fatty livers, and that's filled with toxins. And when the body's looking for stuff to burn, and it finds a big pocket of available fat, it's going to go for it, and you're going to, flood your system with those toxins. Huh?
What does that?
Achy joints.
Body on fire.
Yeah,
I had that
really.
weeks ago.
It's anything that doesn't feel good to your body.
The first time I called Carol, I know the first time I called Carol, it was somewhere into a 4-day fast. Like, light and dark were very strange. Like I had a perception and a light perception that was very weird. Like it wasn't being high, but it was something. It was definite.
We all know what that means.
Yeah.
I didn't inhale. I did not.
And that's why I played. I'm glad you asked, Michael, because I did play Our Generation. There was some stuff. Anything could be stuck in those fat cells. So,
Kind of a drug or some kind of because your fat sequesters poisons and. I've had anesthesia, I've had surgeries. I mean, who knows what is all tucked away in those fat cells. So it was definitely a strange feeling, like, whoa. And I felt like I needed to, be careful, not walk too much. My balance was off.
Yeah.
Don't forget our little Mexican vacation friend.
She's listening. She listens every time.
Oh, okay.
My friend.
Oh,
Sheila from Mexico. 1,000 miles south in Mexico. She decided to do a 6-day water fast.
6-day water fast, body caught on fire.
Her body was on fire for a few days. I mean, it probably still is. She had so much stuff come out of her body, and she's 1,000 miles in Mexico. So you aren't going to be 1,000 miles in Mexico, but just do it this way. It's not worth rushing because it's a lifestyle change. It's not a blip in the pan.
So if you have a weakness, let's say in your lungs or bladder or something like that, will you feel it in those locations potentially?
You very well could. And especially if you're, yeah, and especially if a lot of times you're blowing toxins out of that area that have been stored in there for a long time. And when we talk about the cell renew and the cell, you know, because the whole reason we're doing this whole thing is to create these guys, stem cells, right? And now that I know how those things work, I'm pretty excited about them. Yeah. Close. All right, any other questions?
More definition on the 4-2-1.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So that's just, so you're going to do 4 intermittent fasting days, 2 meals with your coffee in the morning or whenever you do it, then 2 24-hour fasts. So Monday and Tuesday you might do an intermittent fasting. Wednesday you might do a 24. Thursday, Friday you might do intermittent, then another 24, then a feast day on Sunday. Get the feast day in though, because if you don't, you're just going to stop. Everything's going to stop.
I did hear somewhere, and can you clarify? I don't know if it was Dr. Pompa or you said it. Don't follow a fast day with a feast.
You don't have to. So,
no,
you know,
it's not a have, it's a don't do it.
Well, I don't know. He's not necessarily told us that. I mean, maybe, you know, the whole idea is we thought we had to do 5-1-1.
Right.
He goes, you don't have to.
Got it.
You know, and it doesn't matter because sometimes life just doesn't kind of come when they come. I don't know what day of the week I'm going to do a feast day till I do it. But I go, okay, this is my feast day. And usually I still won't have breakfast, but I make sure I get enough food for a feast day because I just am so used to not wanting to eat breakfast. Does that help on that? And you can even do, if you feel like it, like Michael was saying, if you want to try to do more 24-hour, I mean, I actually, to be honest with you, I haven't had anything to eat today. I didn't eat anything Monday or Wednesday. So I've done 3 intermittent or 24-hour fast days this week so far. But I've been doing this for 2 years. So my body knows how to do it. It knows it can go in and out of ketosis really. You just got to train your body.
$500 to 800 calories. Do you consider that still a fast day if you did that?
Based on his research that not everybody, but some people who do the 500 to 800, the body will still think that it's in a fasting phase. It did not work for me. I actually got hungrier, and so I said this one's not for me. But you'll know pretty fast because if you do it and then you have hunger issues, then you know that it's not
I pretty much eat, won't finish my plate anymore. I purposely don't eat everything on my plate, you know, because I used to, and you know, but now I'll just go, I'm full. It takes 20 minutes for your brain to register your stomach's full. So I just don't, I'm finding that I'm just not that happy filling up on food. It's just, I eat a piece of leather, and they see how strong they were, you know. That's
4-2-1. I did, instead of 2 separate 24-hour fasts, I did a 48-hour, and that gave me the confidence that I could do the 5 day.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
More the stem cell, once you pass 30 hours, I felt so good, I just might hurt.
Yeah, and you know, so that's kind of how you do this, you know. And if you wake up and you know you're going to do it, and then halfway 2 o'clock you go, no, I'm not. Just don't. There's no losing on this thing. You just have, that's why we have this team. And who's not on Voxer? A lot of you guys aren't on Voxer. Please get on Voxer because it makes it so much easier for me to help you. Now, there's a bunch of Duncan McCollums because I'm so technically oriented. I open about 5 and I can only work 1. So you want to get the one that has my picture and it says Pro because I lost everything a while back. And it's just, it helps.
2 of them say Pro.
2 of them? It's the one with my picture.
You have a picture now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a picture.
I think 3 of them say Pro.
I figure it's a lot because, you know, I can get back to you almost immediately on that, and then that's just good.
So is there ways to like?
Trying to put together a group so you'll have individual, but also I have a small amount of people in the group, but we'll be able to Like with Dr. Pompa's group, there's like 40 or 50 doctors from all over the world, actually, chemical things. And I got like 5 people, including Dr. Pompa, calling back telling me how to handle this case. You know, that particular thing is we have all these doctors behind us. And for you guys, you have all of you, you know, somebody's going to go, hey, I tried this recipe. Just put it out on the Voxer and everybody else is going to enjoy it. Don't be shy. It's like the first time we were here, remember,
So
everybody
if
was
you
going.
put it on Vox, if you put it on Voxer, how will it get to everybody else?
I have to create the group.
Okay.
But I need to get on Voxer so I can create the
But you
group.
can do it, you
You'll
can do
probably
it.
create 3 or 4.
All say pro.
Yeah, that's right. You do not have to be pro, by the way. Okay, so block fasting. So this might be something for some of you who are ready to do this week. Try a 30-hour block fast. That means 2 days, or no, it means a day and a half, right? You wake up in the morning, you have your coffee, and then by that evening, that's 24 hours. Then if you don't eat that evening and you wake up the next morning, that's 30 hours. So you're just not eating for one day. But you can do your coffee during that thing. And then after 30 hours, that's when the stem cells are pouring out. And a lot of times people go, I'm just going to keep going. I'm feeling pretty good. And then just go as long as you need to. Get on Voxer, say, hey, this is what I'm doing. What should I do? Yeah.
So what about water fast? Is it better to just drink water, or is it okay to have the coffee?
You're not supposed to have the coffee when you're doing a water fast. Here's the thing about a water fast. Thanks for asking. We don't want to put anything in our body when we're doing a water fast because the body knows what to do. It's going to take stock of everything that it's got. It's going to use up the bad stuff and burn it up as fuel, and it's going to bolster the good stuff. So you're just, if you start feeding it vitamins or something else, you're just messing with the innate intelligence of our body. So when you do the water fast, you don't want to have anything else, and that's fine. Yeah.
So if we're on the cellular detox program,
Yeah.
like the both of us
Yeah.
are, when we do the water fast, will we
Yes.
not take the stuff?
Yeah, on the water fast, you would not take the supplements during that time, but check with me individually because you may, you know, it depends on where you are health-wise right then if something's going on. Because sometimes what will happen is you know, we've got all kinds of organisms living inside us, right? And when you start to starve the body, sometimes those guys come out screaming like the Tasmanian devil, you know, looking for something to take advantage of. So we need to know that because we got to kill them. And so we'll give you a little way to kill them.
So what about the black tea and green tea, yada yada?
Well, that's fine, but not during the water fast. Not during the 5-day water fast. If you're doing the other one that Carol talked about on week 8, then that's something different. So Carol does a bonus class on week 8. By the way, on the 14th, it's a Tuesday, I'm going to start it down at Severino's again and do a whole nother beginning. And then, so if you want to come to that again, or if you know people you want to get the information, that's the big overall picture.
When is that date again?
The 14th of May.
Are you gonna do it any other night on Tuesday or no?
I'm planning on doing Tuesday. If everybody can't do Tuesday, I don't have to do it Tuesday night. Because your friends can't come.
No
Because
one I know
because of your church.
can come on Tuesday because we have another meeting on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I want my brother to come.
Uh-huh.
And I'm really hoping I can get him to start because he's got really bad autoimmune issues and stuff.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to do the class Wednesday night. The next class will be Wednesday night. So he doesn't have to come to the first one. He can actually, if you could just show it to him online.
That's what I was thinking.
Just show him that online because everything's online and Carol's really working hard to get it up on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, we're working through the mechanics of trying to get more information out.
Yes, autoimmune
Uh-huh.
diseases of all kinds and fasting. How does that? What's the interaction?
That's a great question. Were you going to ask something?
Go ahead and answer that. And then
Okay.
I have another one.
Okay. So autoimmune disease, I'm going to go into that in a minute actually. So hold on to that. Let's go forward.
So you talked about the pain issues and things going haywire when you're going through the fasting. So if I Voxer you and say, okay, this is happening to me, then I can come in and see you and we can talk about what to do.
Or I can just Voxer you back.
Right.
If I could just give you a quick answer, that's what I'll do. But if it goes beyond that, we'll figure that out. We'll just decide.
The question, when we're doing a 2-day or 3-day fast, should we skip the supplements then as well?
No,
Okay.
Only on the 5 day.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you've taken them over, it doesn't matter that much. It's just, you got the idea of why we don't want to do it.
Okay, so I'm thinking about caffeine again.
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah, because I mean, I drink coffee on a regular basis now, and so a water fast without green tea or black tea would not only be, you know, a whole metabolic cleanse and change and so on, but I mean, the 4-day fast that I've done, I did keep drinking the green black tea mix.
Yeah. Well,
So-
let me answer Michael's question with that, okay?
Okay.
So let's go forward. We're going to answer that question because what we're going to talk about what we're really trying to do on the 5-day water fast. So anything else here? Doctor, you guys know what burst exercises are? If you go to Dr. Marcola, everybody know about Dr. Marcola, go to his website and he has a thing on burst exercises. What we know is when you do short, like maybe 4-minute burst exercises, it is much better than doing a long exercises. Your body metabolism goes up. It's that fight or flight thing. It's that, you know, it increases the blood flow, it increases the endorphins, it increases your hormone receptors, and it's just, so look at, he's got a really good video on it. And then yoga, I'm just gonna go right past yoga. Okay, the root cause nervous system. You know, a lot of you are chiropractic patients, some aren't, but if you've got something going on, talk to me about it. Gut repair down. So, you know, when you're having trouble with weight loss, or if you're having trouble with digestion, think about the glyphosate and the other chemicals and toxins that have been damaging your intestinal wall. Remember, the intestinal wall is 1 cell thick. So, and then they're usually at what we call a tight junction. The glyphosate blows the junctions apart, and then we absorb bigger molecules. So I do have Restore back there. There's some brochures on it. If you guys are interested, just pick them up. The stuff's really good. But, you know, I just want, if you're having trouble, I want to know, I'm not trying to push it on you, I'm just saying some of you may want to do this stuff. Toxic load, again, the fasting trio is a cyto detox, which goes into the cells and binds the heavy metals, and it also stays out of the cells and binds the heavy metals. And then there's the hydrogen molecule, which is just awesome. Hydrogen is the smallest element on the planet, right? And there's a supplement called Fast Tonic that you put these little pills and it starts to bubble. Apparently, the guy who did this was a really amazing scientist that works for the government. Says, and it makes sense, that the hydrogen gets all the way into the cells because it goes there. You can't even keep hydrogen in a glass jar. It will get out of a glass jar. That's how tiny it is. So it gets into the mitochondria and binds with something called a superoxide. That means a bunch of oxygen. So what's hydrogen and oxygen become? Water. So these hydrogens get into the mitochondria, which is part of the autoimmune discussion, binds to those bad reactive antioxidant, or no, what are they? Free radicals and oxygens, and becomes water and gets it out of the body. So some of you may want to go that route, you know, and we have it here if you want to do it. And then detoxification, some of you are on the cellular detox and some aren't. And then, so we can always talk about that. It's just, where do you need to take your health? What's stopping you? Where do we need to repair the organs and stuff? I mean, the fasting program is going to get you really far. But remember, Dr. Pompa talks about diet variation, ancient healing strategies, cellular detoxification, intermittent fasting, and getting into ketosis. So those are the 5 things that are really bringing it around. Heavy metal mold. Oh, we have, did I tell you guys about the new mold test that we have? Test 31 mold. You're doing it,
mentioned
right?
it last week. I didn't know which mold.
Aren't you doing it? Somebody's doing it here. Maybe she's not here. But anyway, very good stuff. So now I want to get to the 3-legged stool, and this answers the autoimmune issue. I thought I had it. Right here. What happened to my 3-legged stool? There it is. Okay. So this is really the way we get the body healthy. Okay, so if you think of your body as a three-legged stool, okay, one leg is genetics. Those are the genes. Those are what are found inside the cell. Those are what determine eye color, hair color, skin, height, all that kind of stuff. It also determines whether or not you're going to be prone to getting, different types of cancers, multiple sclerosis, all that kind of stuff. Then there's stressors. The three stressors are chemical, physical, and emotional. So chemical is what we're talking about with the detoxification and all of the stuff that's stored in our fat cells and in our tissue and in our brain are the chemicals. Physical is strictly the nervous system, and that's chiropractic. And then there's emotional, and that could be, things to do with people in your life. Like I was just listening to people. Is anybody here from Latimpo? Oh, you weren't there today, but they were talking about, who you are, like the 5 most people you hang around with most, And if you're hanging around with people that are stressful for you, get rid of them. And so, this is going to affect this. And then the microbiome, that's what we're talking about, the gut. Those are the 100,000 bacteria in your digestive system. I think last week we talked about starving down each one, right? We said that there are 3 types of microbiome, the ones that eat protein, the ones that eat fat, the ones that eat carbohydrate. So with a mammoth, you'd only eat meat. The other 2 the weak ones would die. Then you eat fat, the protein and carbohydrate ones die. You guys get what I'm talking about? Remember that? So if we can clean up the microbiomes, get rid of the junk by starving them off, by doing intermittent fasting, and if we can detoxify the body and get the nervous system working as well as possible and keep the emotional stressors low as possible, then the effects of the genetics in the cell is going to be a lot better than having toxins in the cell, having all of the cortisol and the other terrible things, that hormones in the cell that are going to turn on the bad genes. And the autoimmune is simply the body fighting itself. Autoimmune, it's fighting itself. And it's doing that because of the toxins, the stressors, and all that. So we just need to keep going around this circle, get into autophagy. Y'all remember what that is? Breaking down and eating the bad cells. So stem cells can be reproduced. And
it's like cannibalism.
It is. It's cannibalism. Our body's eating itself, but it's eating all the bad guys, You'd think you'd go get the white fruit, the ripe fruit.
Not the bad, the weak.
Yeah, the weak. Exactly. Well, the weak and the bad. Because, a lot of the bad bacteria in our body are anaerobic. The ones that hide in our teeth cavities or in dark pockets of our body, they don't like oxygen. They're anaerobic. So as you increase the function of the body and we get the circulation going, those things, it kills them. It's just like you expose them to light, and they go, what? But you expose them to oxygen, and they go down. And that's why the burst exercising is really good, because you're pumping your body with, and I mean, simply has you do this for like 10 minutes or something like that. And I have a friend of mine, and she learned this from Ben Greenfield, who's the one, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's like the leading guy on physical exercise. He just has you do this. Just get down and get up, but you would roll over. And you do that for a minute. So if you get down on the ground and get up as many times as you can in a minute, you are completely winded. And it's a huge, incredible exercise. And what's the main thing that we're fearful of is falling, right? So if you know how to get up and you practice getting up, that's a lot better than this. I mean, so you should try that. Just go set your clock for a minute. What you do is, I can't really do it, you get down, then you turn around and get up. And I'll tell you, it's hard. Do it for a minute. And we actually did it for 2. But so the things that affect us are the viruses, bacteria, molds. That stuff is what will show up to give you what's called a Hertz reaction when you're fasting. A Hertz means it's just probably a guy named Hertz figured it out. But,
It's a frequency.
Huh?
It's a frequency.
A frequency? Yeah. Well, I know that, but I don't think maybe that's what it's named after, huh? What? Hertzheimer? Is that it? Hertzheimer. Okay, good. Thank you. See? That's why we're on Voxer. We would know what that is.
Dr. McCollum.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that one thing that I've discovered in my life that helps me both in a number of ways, dealing with stress and dealing with movement and mood, is laughter yoga. And I liked it so much that I became a teacher of laughter yoga. And one of the things about laughing is people say it's the best medicine, but nobody does it, right?
Right.
So what we do is we practice laughing, and it's faking it for a while. And pretty soon, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's contagious.
Yeah.
It's Ed Wynn.
So anyway, it really increases your oxygenation, and oxygen is what we're exposing the cells to clear them out, right? You're just talking about exposing.
Also, the hormone that it releases, the serotonin.
Serotonin, endorphins, and there's one more. Anyway, it makes you feel better, it oxygenates, and it really strengthens your core muscles.
Oxytocin. Yeah, oxytocin is a really amazing
The
hormone.
other thing that's very related to that is singing.
Of course.
Performing
Yeah.
and musical.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the fasting trio. If anybody's interested, the bind is like a catcher's mitt. It stays in your intestines and it grabs the toxins and it pulls them out of the body. A lot of the chlorella and the cilantro that are somewhat good binders, they're not strong enough to get it out of the body because all those toxins get stuck in bile. Bile's reabsorbed back into the body, back through the liver, back into the gallbladder if you have one. And so the bind just grabs the stuff. There's a particular, Dr. Pompa was talking about it today, it's a nigen or some kind of very rare and expensive carbon that pulls it together. The cytodetox is it's a very clean zeolite molecule. A lot of the zeolite has got heavy metals in it. This has been washed so clean, not clean enough that it doesn't work, but it's what's going to go through your body and just pick up the toxins. And then the fast tonic is the hydrogen that I just love. I mean, if one day it's actually it doesn't have hydrogen in it, but it binds with the water. It's a magnesium that binds with the water and frees the hydrogen. Then you drink the water and the hydrogen, and then, actually I came in here one day after I had a little bit too much of the dry farm wine I'm telling you about, and I was just feeling like, oh God, why did I do that? So then I got 2 of those things and I drank it and I just forgot. It just completely handled the kind of foggy thinking that I was having. So it's a really good one. I like it a lot.
And you have enough of that for all of us today?
I don't have enough for everybody, but I got a lot, and I don't know if everybody wants it, but we do. I can get more. It's okay. Our legacy is your health and the health of your spouse and children so well managed that we will reverse the downhill health spiral for 4 generations. So I've already gone over this a lot. It's like really we've got to teach our kids about this and our parents if they're still around. We don't want to create an emotional burden. I'm really hoping that I get on this show. I'm pretty sure I will. And it's going to be great. It'll be a podcast, and then I'll let you guys know about it. Are you going to grow old with a pocket full of medications that you must consume to keep alive? Or are you going to do the generation thing, talking about our generation? You know what's cool about this song, right? It goes, people try to put us down, right? Just because we get around. Things they do look awfully cold. I hope I die before I get old. Talking about our generation. So we grew up thinking it doesn't matter, we're going to die before we get old anyway. Well, guess what? We're still here. So sorry, joke's on us.
So how would you explain this to a 92-year-old who is on a pocket full of medications?
That's pretty tough. I would just, what we do, with our mother-in-law, we just stopped feeding her bad food. Of course, that person doesn't live with you, I imagine. But,
I mean, but how would you just introduce it?
Anybody have any ideas? I mean, yeah.
No,
the whole concept of the whole diet variation. I mean, all that we're doing is. I think you start with the oils, try to get them just taking some oils and reducing your carbs. Don't stop
Yeah,
the meds.
there you go, that's.
Yeah.
But your testimony is the most powerful.
Right,
Yeah.
right, being 90 doesn't make you.
Instead of a hippie.
And I also think your body, even at 92, is going to respond.
It responded really well. Like her mother, how much did your weight did your mom lose?
She 30 pounds.
Wow.
Just changing from what she was eating in the retirement home to organic food.
Yeah, she moved in with us and started
What
eating
age
organic
was
food.
that?
She's 98 in June.
Yeah, she's
So what
98.
age did she start?
What?
96?
97? Yeah. And also, you know what's interesting? When she got sick, was starting to get a cold, and she goes, I'm going to fast today. Because I don't want to eat. And she's just got it, because she was around it. And it's just really amazing. And she'll go, okay, well, what do you want me to take?
Yeah.
So I've been taking this for long enough. Shouldn't I be changing to something else? Because she just listens, So she's pretty amazing. She's the original health rebel.
That's right. Who was the Nobel Prize winner in 2016?
Oh, that's Yoshinori Asumi. I can write it down for you. Okay, Asumi is his last name.
Sumi.
Ohsumi.
Kind of like so sumi.
Right.
Yes, Asumi. And Yoshinori. Maybe you can spell Yoshinori for me.
Yeah.
Yossinori or something. Yoshinori Asumi.
So Nobel Prize in what?
In medicine and physiology for autophagy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. In what year?
2016.
Yeah, I'll track that down.
Yeah.
In
awesome.
autophagy.
In it for autophagy. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually got it all here too. But anyway, so everybody's starting to get their big revision. Mm-hmm. Some of you are still trying to get over a hurdle. This week, think about trying to expand your non-eating window to, even if you do a 30-hour fast, that would be great, or 24 or 48. And then who thinks they want to try to do the 5-day fast next week? Awesome.
Wow.
Okay, great. That's the most of us. Okay. And
Water fast, we don't have caffeine.
you know what? That's really interesting. I thought for sure I was gonna get a headache on the water fast, and I did get a mild one, but my body's been changing. It changed so much because the chemicals. Now you should be drinking organic coffee anyway. You're less likely to get the hangover from it. But you can also start going half calf. You can start just mixing in half calf if you need to. But who here drinks coffee normally, did a 5-day water fast, and did not have trouble with coffee?
I didn't.
And did you drink coffee, Eileen? You don't drink coffee. Okay.
What's the trouble with the coffee? I mean,
Sometimes you get a headache when you stop drinking.
I don't know what you're used to drinking.
But it's only going to last a day or two anyway.
I missed it, but it didn't affect me.
Do you drink organic coffee? Normally, that's probably why.
Yeah, because you want organic shade-grown coffee, because otherwise it's filled with mold. You know the United States will take any coffee that other countries won't allow in? Like they just, right, Michael, you know that? Yeah, our coffee is so full of mold that, and Carol, you know about it too, right?
Yeah, I have my Harrods story. I was in London last year and I went into Harrods to the coffee counter and asked them for organic coffee. And he just stared at me and he went, "You're an American." I said, "Yes." I said, "But do you have organic coffee?" "We don't have anything labeled organic." "What is it with you Americans? Why do you need something labeled organic?" He said, "We don't have the organic label here. Explain this to me." He was actually quite polite. And I said, "Well, blah, 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 blah." He goes, "Oh, well, we have regulations in this country. We just naturally, so we don't need to put the organic label on it. Our coffee doesn't have mold in it because it's not allowed to." I was like,
Yeah, and you know what? Because we're doing this again, sometimes we skip stuff. What are the coffee companies that we use?
Kicking Horse.
Kicking Horse is a good organic one. You can order it online. And what, the one Elizabeth gets? We get like 4 pounds.
Oh, I forget the name of that one.
Huh?
Kicking Horse.
3 Sisters is a good one, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
any-
the kicking horse coffee.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
worth it because the coffee is just like you go to Starbucks, you're drinking stuff that's just really cheap.
Kicking horse, Three Sisters.
Three Sisters, Kicking Horse, and then
Yeah,
I'll
on Amazon.
put out on Voxer what we
Okay.
get when I get home.
Alright.
I have one quick question, but the mold issue, you were talking about a mold, medication of some sort or
A
supplement.
test, yeah.
What are the symptoms of mold?
Man, that's huge. It could
Okay,
be,
so it's
I mean,
okay.
allergies, chronic wheezing, hay fever, bad eyes, memory loss, emotional problems, anxiety. I mean, mold is, you know, they talk about mold in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
I don't know who knows that or not, but they say if you get the whatever verse it is, if you have mold in your house on the walls, tear down the walls. If it comes back, leave naked, burn the house down, and start over. I mean, that's literally what it says. The good thing about mold, Dr. Pompa, we just had a summit on it the other day. You can get mold handled within 8 to 12 weeks. You can handle it. We know how to handle it in your body if you have it.
So,
The heavy metals is a lot longer cycle, but the mold you can handle quickly, and most of us are exposed to it in this town.
drinking mold is as bad as breathing it.
Well, at least you have hydrogen, you know, you have hydrochloric acid in your stomach to try to kill it, and
Yeah.
you have killers, but you don't want it if you
Yeah.
can help it.
And if you live in Santa Cruz,
Yeah.
you're by the Pajaro Valley where there's strawberry mold in the air everywhere.
Wow.
So you're literally inhaling it.
Yeah.
My daughters are allergic to botrytis and they have bad conditions.
I forgot to mention that I don't seem to have hay fever this year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Huh. When would
That's
you?
what I thought.
Yeah.
Huh. Because it's a bad year for hay fever.
Yeah, every now and then
I mean, would that be since you started fasting?
Yes.
You know, well, maybe, I
Yes.
guess so, yeah.
Yeah, good.
He was having trouble before, the fast, and before this.
Oh.
Yep.
It's amazing. You're pulling histamines out of your body, and your eyes are so much clearer than
Oh
last
my
week.
gosh, I had pits in my eyes.
Yeah.
And the pterygium was growing over the iris, and my doctor told me, you know, you're probably experiencing some vision, issues, and I was, and that pterygium is actually dissolving. And they
Wow.
told me, you know, we can remove it, 50% chance it'll come back,
Mhm.
but it's going on its own.
Yeah. You guys know what the tertium? I think
No,
it's
what is that?
that's that pink thing that comes on the
Yeah, my
eyeball and
husband has
grows.
that.
Yeah.
My husband has that.
And
And
it's going away.
You know what also goes away on when you do the 5-day fasting? Skin tags will just drop
Oh,
off.
would that be?
It might not be the first one.
I'll be the testimony right here.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to.
That would be the gift.
This is interesting. This was from my last day, but you know, this is a point on why we need to talk to people because 75% of all bankruptcies in our country, according to Harvard, come from medical problems, and 78% of them had health insurance. So, you know, 1 out of 2 is going to die of cancer, 1 out of 3 Alzheimer's disease, 50% diabetes. So please talk to your friends and have them come to our workshops. Set our goals. Remember, pleasure is the dopamine, and happiness is serotonin. So we cop out from pleasure, which would be the sugars and the ice cream. Remember, who wants the sugar?
Bad cells.
The gut. That's right. Those bad microbiome in your gut are screaming for sugar. You're smart enough. They just persuade you to eat it. So don't listen to your gut. Listen to this head. Okay, and then, so we're pretty much getting through, we're done with this, the types of benefits.
Bone broth.
Yeah, bone broth. Okay, so here's your 4-2-1 fasting window. This is just an example. Just take your worksheet and just kind of figure out what you think you're going to do that, where you think you're going to do that, your 4-2-1. Did you get your book? You have your book? Okay, everybody has their book, right? Cool. And so, who?
He has a question.
He does?
Yeah, but you didn't answer that.
Which one?
You said all.
Autophagy? Or no, autoimmune, I did talk about that. I tried to explain, I tried to answer it.
Yeah, he got you.
Okay.
Yeah, the autoimmune happens because the genes get turned on. Bad genes get turned on. We get the toxins out of the body, the stresses, the chemicals out of the body, clean ourselves up emotionally any way we need to, ideally, fix the microbiome by starving them off with intermittent fasting, diet variation, and then the genes are good genes are going to turn on, especially when we feed them good things.
So does that mean that somebody with an autoimmune disease could benefit from fasting?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It happens all the time. I mean, we turn off autoimmune disease all the time. It's like a switch. It's not easy, but depends on how many you have, because some people have so many and then they've been on so many medications, so then they have fibromyalgia and all that different stuff.
I was gonna say, this is a really 15-book idea.
Yeah.
And I wanted to suggest a really great recipe in there. It's
Okay.
called the almond flatbread.
Okay, why don't you post it?
No, I
Can
don't
you-
want to post it.
Okay.
Everybody just get the book and just use the recipe.
Okay, well, we can do that. Hey, Carol's got to go.
It's got kale in it.
We'll talk about that book at another time. I didn't mean to have it up here, but this lady's amazing. Guess how old that lady is and how many kids she has? 45, 4 kids. Unbelievable.
I'm going home next week.
Yeah, even there.
Okay.
That's amazing, huh? I have a picture of me standing next to Dr. Pompa, and I went, terrible standing next to this guy. So I made a goal to really work on it. Okay. Okay, what can't adapt? What can't adapt?
I just had like,
Bad? Who said that?
I went like 30 hours.
Bad cells. Remember, what can't adapt is bad cells. That's what we're doing. We're trying to kill off these bad cells by starving them. Everything good in our body adapts, but the bad cells can't adapt. The cancer cells cannot adapt. They die off. That's the whole point of what we're trying to do. Is this, remember that. What can't adapt? Bad cells can't adapt.
We want to eat them.
Yeah, we want our body to eat them up. And those are the mitochondria where all things happen. That's where all cancers start. That's where we want to get the hydrogen in there to grab the little superoxides in there. And so, anyway, I don't want to keep going on. I think we went a little late tonight. But so I'm willing to stick around and answer any questions. Or anybody wants to any more comments, that's fine. Anybody that needs to leave, you're welcome to. And oh, you're the one that needed that. Yeah, good. I'm glad you got it. Bye.
Caitlin, can I get the 3-day of fasting?
Talk to
Fasting trio?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
yeah. You just get one, and you guys. Well, except for you might want 2 bottles.
That's important fasting.
That's what I do.
I wanted to just ask.
I know
Yeah.
it's not. I've been
We're gonna get out of here.
on rent and it's on here.
Okay, well, right here. Appreciate your help.
Yes. When they call me, I only have 24 or 48 hours notice to report. Usually it's for a minimum of 30 days.
So including tax, it's 170.04.
Meaningful work and has a touch of.
So now,
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Keep coming. I watched one night on TV, and I put a note in and said, "Tell everybody I say hi," but they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.